I had trouble posting my last video, and I spoke for 10 minutes. It's not 3 minutes anymore. Now it's 10. So that was kind of a waste of time. Well, not really, because I'm reading for myself as well. Um, that was not nice what I just said to myself. This suggested one. Okay. Believing in each other. In conclusion, the evidence suggests that we should be very careful about making casual connections in the accumulating data concerning spiritual and religious beliefs. There are compassionate, creative atheists, and there are murderers who act in God's name. This suggests that it is important to judge people not only on their beliefs, but also on the behaviors that arise from those beliefs. Some people pretend to know God and believe in God. Spiritual beliefs, all beliefs for that matter. Look at people's actions, not their words. Reflect the way we choose to understand reality, and this is a unique experience for every individual. Truth, beauty, compassion, morality, all such ideals can be embraced by religious and non-religious people alike. Different beliefs can open the mind to possibilities previously undreamed of. And this open-mindedness can be best achieved by maintaining a compassionate dialogue between all sides of the spiritual debate, especially between scientific and religious views. I believe that this is what Einstein was suggesting when he said that science without religion is lame. Religion without science is blind. Whether we are gazing through a telescope or contemplating our soul, we all can marvel at the beauty of the mysteriousness of the universe. It is in the nature of our brain to search for its deepest truths. And although we may never grasp truth in its entirety, it's our right and our biological heritage. Oh my God. Now I'm going to have to read what I read before. I'm going to read the most important part, guys. And that was the fact. Yeah, because it was the last page. The ultimate question. We were going over the ultimate question the last time. And the ultimate question was, is any of this real? Determining what is real is what we were reading. Your sense of reality depends primarily on three criteria: the subjective vividness of an experience, the continuity and duration of the experience through time and space, and the consensus of others on what is considered real. For me, all three criteria can be reduced to the first one. The vivid sense of any experience ultimately defines what is real and what is not. For example, your perception of time, space, and duration are subjectively structured experiences created by the brain. If you alter the brain's functioning for any reason, a significant perpetual shift will occur in all three dimensions. Thus, time, space, duration, even in your sense of self, are subjectively relative relative experiences that can change from moment to moment, depending on the neutral activity of the brain. The third criterion for establishing what reality is, interpersonal validation, is also subjective. The fact that someone agrees with you does not necessarily make your opinions true. And yet, as far as the brain is concerned, validation from others is essential for determining truth. Even when people see totally different objects, research consistently demonstrates that peer group pressure unconsciously forces us to align our opinions. Therefore, our subjective experience becomes the whole sole arbiter of what we consider real. We reach out and touch a table, it feels real. And because it feels real, we believe that it is real. When we dream our dreams to seem real, in part because various cognitive systems have been suspended. But when we awake, our senses reestablish themselves and we interpret our experience as less real according to our pre-established beliefs. The same thing happens when we have a spiritual experience. We suspend certain sensory processes and beliefs and accentuate others in ways that allow the experience to feel real. But this condition lasts only while we are having the experience. When it ends, we return to baseline awareness and categorize the experience in one of the several ways. For example, we might argue that the experience was a distortion or hallucination, or we might agree that we experienced what was super real, more real than our everyday reality. In either case, we usually base our decision on previously held beliefs. What if it were possible to suspend all systems of belief? In Buddhism, this is known as pure consciousness, a state in which one is awake and aware, yet no thoughts are being consciously processed or perceived. The rare individual who teaches such a state must be interpreted by someone else in order to eat or sleep. What would be the benefit of such a practice? According to the Buddhists, this state brings a profound sense of peacefulness that is free from the suffering caused by desires, worries, and fears. The present is all that exists. When these people come back to everyday reality, when they re-engage in the world, they appear to have more wisdom and compassion than other individuals. And when you are in the presence, they seem to radiate a profound sense of peace. What interests me about these states is that the person may have found a way to step outside of his or her system of belief and thus experience reality more open-mindedly. If we can find such gifted individuals, we now have the technology to peer into their brains to help us understand the reality they perceive. What do I expect to find? Hopefully, I might stumble on the connection between the everyday reality created by the brain and the fundamental reality that links us to life, the universe, and everything. The more we push science and spirituality to their limits, the more chance we have to answer the ultimate question. In Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the ultimate question turned out to be a line from Bob Dylan's Blowin' in the Wind, which asked how many paths must a man have to walk before he could be called a man. All we are is dust in the wind. It's not a bad question, and I too have often paraphrased Dylan, wondering how many paths we must walk before we discover the truth. But I doubt that the answer will be 42. 42, you might not get that. That's because that was when we read earlier on my earlier video. In the end, we must always return to our beliefs unless you've been watching, obviously. From the mundane to the mystical, they inform us about reality and they shape our future lives. And if the ultimate reality remains a mystery, so much the better, for it is the questions that give us meaning, that drives us forward and fulfills us with a transcendent awe. At least that is what I believe. I'm going to pause this real quick. Well, I'm going to start the next book. Okay. So, stand firm on what you believe in. Don't let anybody try to convince you otherwise. If you know what God has done in your life, if you know that you're a good person, if you know you're just trying to help people, if you know that, sometimes you gotta say lies here and there to survive in this world. Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do to survive in this world. So God knows your situation. So if you have to lie and connive your way through something, as long as you're not harming other human beings, I think you're on the right track. God knows. He puts certain people in your life to guide you and help you. He knows you're struggling if you ask for help, correct? The Lover's Gosh, bro. The Lover's Gosh. I wasn't even ready. You know what? I'm going to take that back. I don't want that card. I take it back. I wasn't even ready. 8 of Wands. Okay. Ready? Shh. Quiet. I'm telling myself to be quiet. Honey, take some deep breaths. Okay. Lord, universe, ancestors, God, source, angels, please help us, guide us into a message for today for our fellow followers. I'm going to have to switch cards. You know what? I'm going to switch cards. There was a little accident up here earlier, and I didn't put my cards away. So I have to use my other deck. Just come back to the next video. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle. Come back to the next video, guys.